Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today I'm here to share my second set of alternative cards using the April 2024 paper pumpkin kit named Delicate Wings. So before we begin, let me thank those of you that have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate you consider subscribing. And I'm real close to 3,000, so I need a little under 50 people. So if you can help me reach that 3,000 total of subscribers, I would greatly appreciate it. So I have some business to share before we begin also, but I need to switch to downhand so I can show you the brochures. So let me just switch over here to my screen. Okay, so here is my hands down, and let me get I got my scrubby wet finally. So this is the Delicate Wings. It's a very beautiful kit, and I'm enjoying making alternatives. So for this alternative, it's going to be a little more avid, but let me get to the business first. So going on now is the subscription period for the Best There Is Paper Pumpkin Kit. That'll be May, and we're going to get a Misty Moonlight spot, and it also coordinates with some new designer series paper that's going to be in the new 2024 through 2025 Stampin' Up! Catalog, and that paper is called Country Woods Designer Series Paper. And then I finally also printed out the one they released the colors, and when that was in black and white, I had no idea what this was here, but I can see that it's peaches, which looks very cute. And for that one, we're going to get Shy Shamrock Classic Ink Spot. And then going on now is this quarter's add-on dies. And like I said, I did just receive them right before I did my first alternative kit. And so they are right here, and the item number is 164397. So as you can see, what I like to do is put some magnets here, and I do that with all my dies. And those are part of what I call my favorite things. And so my favorite things are items that Stampin' Up! Does not sell that I like to use in my craft room to help me organize things. So if you're interested in purchasing any of these, or you're going to see my little envelopes that are part of my favorite things here in a minute, then click on the more just by the title of this video, and there'll be a whole list at the bottom. And I am an Amazon affiliate, so those are safe links from Amazon. And when you use those links to purchase those items, I get a few pennies back at no cost to you for suggesting these products. So if you have used those or plan to use those in the future, thank you so much for your support. Okay, and then let me go ahead and just share with you the new in colors coming in the annual catalog. And you can see one of those is the peach, which will help with the peach. It's called Life is Sweet Paper Pumpkin Kit. This is going to be a favorite of mine, this Petunia Pop. Pretty in pink. Now that's an old color that we used to have, and it's returning. I actually compared that to some cardstock that I still had in my stash, and it's exactly the same, which is kind of unusual. My ink pad's a little iffy, so I'm sure I'm getting a new ink pad for that. Shy Shamrock, and then Summer Splash. Now also I have some news to share. At OnStage, we were able to get this awesome color wheel so that when you're picking colors, say you wanted to use Cherry Cobbler right here, some coordinating colors in the Triadic would be this Pool Party and Lemon Lolly. Anyway, the good news about this is I heard that they are going to work on making one to be able to add probably an online exclusive thing for customers. Unfortunately, it's going to be either late in the year, like December or January of next year, but they are working on that. So the color wheel without this little gadget here is in the new annual catalog, so you can see all the colors. So I just thought I would share that information with everyone so that you know that that is coming. A lot of people have asked for that. Okay, now for today's card, it's going to be a little more avid. I do love paper pumpkin kits, and they are made for simple card making, but I like to take them to the next level and make more of an avid card. So for today's card, as usual, we need another thick white card base. Now, this time we're going to use the Lost Lagoon full-size card, and that is right here in case you missed my unboxing. So we actually get full front and back, but I never waste this as the back of a card. I also like to put them on thick white paper. And so as you can see, I have a strip left over. I'm working on other alternatives as well, but I'll probably will just have time for this one. So I already have this cut, and I'll share with you my cutting measurements when we get to that. Then you need a piece of Lost Lagoon, and this Lost Lagoon is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, then I would say you need Basic Beige because that is a new color coming. I don't have any yet, I know, bad of me, but I had this Sahara Sand retired paper that is similar and close, so and it matches okay, so you need a piece of it. Now I'm going to explain how I cut this, but when you cut this piece, I would say do it 5 1/2 by 3 1/2, and that's what I did to start with, but I have some tips on how to use that. You're going to need a border die. Now I chose to use my Elegant Borders, this one right here. In my previous videos, I've used this one before, and it's one of my favorite border dies. It's current. So the item number for this is 161593. And by the way, I do have a current host code going on through the end of April, and I have a new online shop that has the description there of how to get to my new online shop. Under the specials, I will always list my current host code, and there's also a link to where you can subscribe to Paper Pumpkin if you do not already have a demonstrator. So let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to work with this first. So let me set this back aside. All right, I have one here that I've just cut the border out of, so I didn't have to go over to my die cut machine. And as you can see, it is 5 1/2 by, I die cut it already, so about 3 1/2 is what I started with. But sometimes you may have trouble with your borders being straight. Like I tried to, this one's actually pretty straight, but not completely. You can see it kind of starts turning this way. So I'm going to share a tip of how I get those straight. So the first tip is you want to cut it bigger than you actually want it, which is what I did here. And so what I want to end up with is 5 1/4 by 3 inches. So half of 5 1/4 is 2 5/8. So I have put a piece of washi tape right here at the 2 5/8 inch mark. But first we want to get this straight, right? So the easiest way to get it straight is set your border die right against that. Now I'm going to switch it down to the bottom since my tape is there. I don't know that it'll mess up anything, but I'm just going to do it down here. So and you can see here based on my ruler that it is a little crooked. So I want to take a little bit off that. Well, actually I need to do it up here, and here's why. So since half is, this is going to be very technical, and you're like, Robin, how'd you figure this out? So 2 5/8 is where the center is going to be, since I want it at 5 1/4, and I did it at 3 5/8. You know, that's what you get for thinking you had it all lined up. Okay, so 2 5/8 is where we want it. So you're going to set the center of your border die right there. Now some won't have a definite center. This one does. So then I'm going to trim right there. And now I don't need it for the second half. I know I just need it to be 5 1/4 inches long. Okay. And that way I've kept the center, this in the center of the die, or the center of this die cut. Does that make sense? Okay, let me do it again. I have another one so we can do it again. So I think, oh, and I didn't shorten this one. Let's shorten this to 3 inches because that's what I want. And I can't see my 3 inches, so I'm going to have to do it from the bottom. So I'm just going to line the borders up there and cut it down to 3 inches. This one may be my straight one that I did in case I messed up. Okay, but I do have one more. So let's do that again. All right, so you want to take a piece of washi and figure out what your half is of your finished size. and mine is 2 5/8. Okay, and if you want to test that you didn't do your tape crooked, you can get a measuring tape and measure, and that is 2 5/8. Okay, since I want that to be at the center, I'm going to line this center up with the center of that and trim this side. Okay, and this is going to help get it straight as well. And then I know I just wanted a total of 5 2/4 inches, so I can just cut that side off. All right, I did flip it. So now this border is in the center. And then I'm going to trim this one down to 3. And then I also know that my border is straight. So there's just a tip of how you can get your borders straight. Just cut your cardstock a little bigger than what you want it, and then do the sides, and then cut it off however much you want. So I hope that was helpful to everyone. All right, so let's get back to this card. I have 3 now that we can do, and you can get 3 out of half of a card base. So this one is right at 1 3/8. So when you cut the half of your card base, you'll cut it in half at 4.25, and then you can cut 2 of them at 1 3/8, and you'll be left with about 1 1/2. So, or you can just cut the 1 3/8 and then cut whatever you have left in half to get 3. All right, so to begin, let me make sure I haven't missed any steps yet. Not quite yet. So let's go ahead and glue down the Lost Lagoon. And let me feel to see which side. Okay, this side is a hair thinner, so that's the side you want to be, not thinner, bigger. So you want that to be the front of your card. Let me smear this out some. Another thing, if you get too much glue in one area, when you go to put it on your card, you can kind of start low and then push it, and that'll help spread the glue around. So there's another tip. I share tips as I go because I always do something funky. They're not planned, but when I do have a boo-boo, I try to share tips of how to fix that. Okay, now in this set was also a splatter stamp right here. So we're going to use that on this piece that would be basic beige, but this is Sahara sand. And I'm going to get just a scrap of paper here. And I'm going to get my Sahara sand ink spot. I think it's behind me here. There it is. Okay, and I put a piece of just scrap paper behind it because I'm going to stamp off some so that it looks continuous. And you just want to be very random about this, no particular way. But I am going to stop after I get about 3/4 down the way because I want to put my sentiment on this piece as well. So I find this just gives it a little more interest. The little dots makes it not so plain. And usually I do an embossing folder to make it not so plain. But I thought the splatter was very interesting. So I thought I would use that. All right. Now let's put our sentiment on that piece. I have it lined up in my Stamparatus already. Okay, so I want it down at the bottom. I hope this is the same size. If not, I'll just move it to where I want it. Okay, I think I want it a little more on the left. You know what, let me pull this to me. I can maybe not get my hair in the way. All right, so here's how I do that. I have it about centered that way. Okay, but I want to see if it's straight. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to use my basic gray ink pad. You know what, I'm going to use my spot. I do love the spots on the Stamparatus versus my full-size pad. Okay, and now I can use my grid here and see that it's it's close enough to straight that I'm not going to move it. It does go up a little bit here and down, but I mean just a hair. So I'm going to be good with that. So now I'm just going to spray that with some water to wipe that up and then dry it. Okay, and let's stamp that. Okay, you can see here, I don't know if you can see, I got that one really goopy. So I want to do that again. I don't want it that goopy. It might be too thick. So I did just re-ink my basic gray because it was getting quite not as strong. All right, so give that a second to dry. And it could have been that there was some water in there and that helped pull the ink down. So let me not press so hard with my spot since I re-inked it. The good thing with the Stamparatus is if I mess inking it enough, I can go again. And that looks good. So we're going to say done with that. Okay, and this is a sentiment out of the kit. So other than the cardstock and the border dies, I'm using everything from the kit. So you could either do just a torn edge if you don't have any dies or a die cut machine. You could do that if you don't have any dies. So I like to give alternatives in case you don't have some things. Okay, and then we're going to put our butterfly piece, but I didn't trim it tall wise yet. So I want this to be the same as this. You could do two things. You could either just line that up and then use your scissors. That way it's for sure the exact same length. Or you could use your trimmer. Whatever you feel more comfortable with. Okay, and then let's adhere this to the side of the Lost Lagoon. And I'm using and I did get some ink on that from my block from my first video. I was glad it was on the back. Okay, and then you can decide. I like this side because it shows almost this full butterfly. Okay, and this is going to end up going here first or last. But I want to show my butterflies. Now, like I said, I just got the dies in, and I was more than thrilled when I tried it out. So, I thought this detail one was just a detailed butterfly, but actually what it does is it cuts just the wings. It leaves the body alone. So I thought that is awesome. So I did that with some of my colored ones. And I don't know if this shows well, but it's just stunning. So what can I put behind it? Maybe the card, maybe just a white piece. So that way you can pop up these wings like this. And then I didn't want to just leave him blank behind. So I just colored another full butterfly. And so I'm going to attach that to this. So one tip, like if you mess up, like I went a little out of the lines there, I thought I'll make that one a bottom one. Okay. And then I'm going to adhere these together. So I pre-colored one. I showed how I colored these in my first alternative video. This one I did use my blends markers of Lost Lagoon and Moody Mauve. So I don't know if this shows, but does it help to show it like that? Anyway, it's just, I love it. All right, so we're going to have one there, and I have some more already done. So let me just put these on some others. And then if I have one, I'll bring my little mini boss and show you how to do that. All right, so again, it's like he's fluttering. Anyway, I was thrilled with that die. All right, so here's one more. Actually, I don't need to do that one. That was just an extra in case I messed up. Here is the half, the butterfly in flight. And let me go ahead and I'll bring my mini box. I think I have an extra one in here to show you how it works. Let me clear a little space. Okay, let's see if I can get that in the screen pretty well. Okay, so here's the butterfly and here's the dies. So this little detail guy, all right, you want to put him right in the center of, and I pre-color it. I don't want to color it afterwards. It's too hard with all the little lines. All right, and then I take a little piece of washi to hold it in place. That way I know it's in the center and it's not going to move. Set it down. Now sometimes I have a hard time getting this thing started, so I'm going to turn it this way. Nope, I didn't that time. Okay, and you can see those pieces just come right out. Put this in my trash right here. Okay, so that is what you're left with. And again, I just don't think it shows very well. So you can see the white is what it cut out. So anyway, if you have a die cut machine and you're a paper pumpkin fan, these, just for that alone, is worth those dies. So I hope that helps give you an idea of what I did. So now I have two at least done. Here it is just in white. And that's what I just tried it out. And I said, wow. And so then I thought, that's going to look really pretty if it's colored. So I did that just to test them out. All right, back to the card. How am I on time? I'm really good on time. All right, so let's put this down. I must be forgetting to do something if I'm that good on time. You know what? I like him over here, and I'll just get up that glue with my glue eraser when it dries, because I want to leave room for this guy. Now this guy, unfortunately, I thought about trying to use that die on this, but it really doesn't line up and it would just cut it apart. So he just gets some dimension by me curling his wings. And yes, it's a he. I know, I personalize my stamps. They become a part of me. All right, I'll get up that in a minute. Actually, it might be dry enough now. Whoops, but don't have sticky fingers and then you pull them up. Come back up, wing. Okay. Same thing here. You don't want those to be glued down. You want those to be flying. Okay, so then we're going to put this on dimensionals. Get my little bucket of goodies here. Let's finish off this strip so I can put this in the trash. Okay, now on my other ones, I just did my usual 6, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. But this is so long, I think it actually needs the ones in the center as well. So kind of like here to support that part, here to support that part. Okay, let's take off the backings. I may actually have time to do my other alternative. Okay, here this goes. Okay, so that is my card. I don't know that it really needs any more embellishments. I guess you could put some gold or something here. But anyway, I love this card. I love how the die cuts work. So this is one of my favorites so far. All right, so let me see if I have everything ready for the next card, which I think I do. It's much simpler. I really thought that was all I was going to have time for, but I think I can do this one really quick. So this one is going to use, let me set this aside so I don't lose it, the gold half piece that's in the kit. Okay, and then you're going to need a layered of basic gray. Now this is with the color and contour dies. My favorite. I think I may use those even after they are retired. So if they're still available, I would grab these up. And then we're going to use one of the big butterflies from the kit. And then you need a piece of Lost Lagoon. Now I have some tips on how I did this. So like I said, and of course a thick white card base. All right, so this is going to go here, and I wanted to put Lost Lagoon with it, right? So I had one piece, and then I thought I also want to emboss it. Now this is with the Painted Posies 3D embossing folder. I know it was on the last chance list. I don't know if it's still available because I didn't think I'd have time to do this card today, but I do. So I will list that in my supply items on my blog post, and hopefully I'll get that blog post done today showing these cards. All right, so anyway, I had one piece. Let me see what I can example it. Here's a basic gray. So I thought, you know what, I can use just one 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece to do both cards. So what I did is I put this in my trimmer. Lots of tips today. I hope you guys like these cards. All right, and then I'm going to put one end at the 1 inch and the opposite end at the 1 inch, right? And then I just sliced. So that would cut it about like that. And that's how I got my two pieces. Let's see if I can set this down here to show. That's not right. I don't know that I'll get this set in the right spot for, oh, no. Okay, do you get the idea? Anyway, I hope you do. That's not right either. But, so this is going to be our piece for our second half. I think I had to flip it. That's what I had to do. I had to flip this one. There we go. And you can see that it cut right there. All right. That really messed with my brain. All right. So we're going to find the front of your card. It's going to be this side. Adhere this down, but actually I need to trim this down to 4 1/8 as well, because this one is 4 1/8. So you can pick which side you want. I did the less colored side, the bigger side. So you want this to 4 1/8. Now you could do it full card size. My preference is just to have a little white border. So you do you, like I like to say. Make them like you like them. All right, and let's adhere this down. This one's a very easy card. And I still have more to share. So, my next one is an Avid card as well. Or for my next video. Then I hope I have my ribbon close by that I used for this. Now I find when you have an embossed piece, you want to be pretty generous with your adhesive because it can go down in the grooves and not stick very well. Okay, and just get that as centered as can be. And you're like, Robin, you have a gap there. And I know I do. And I'm going to cover that up with ribbon. And here it is, good. What I used for this one, it's called the frayed ribbon. That's frayed ribbon, and it's white, and it's on the clearance, or it's clearance or last chance, one of those. And so I thought I'm just going to cover that up here. And actually that works pretty well. I am going to get out my old tape runner that I've had forever and a day and put some glue there so it'll stick. You could use your glue dots, you could use your tear and tape, whatever you want to use there, because it's not going to wrap around. It's just going to cover this gap and give it some texture. All right, I need my scissors. Let's hope these are good and sharp. They were before. And I'm going to do my best to trim that right along with the Lost Lagoon. And I think that's pretty good. I may straighten, you know, y'all know me. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and if I don't like it, I fuss with it, and these scissors aren't getting in there very well. Okay, I like that better. You're like, I don't notice a difference, and you may not. Okay, so then I used a basic gray. Now, I was kind of like, is this going to look good or not? And I stared at the finished card for a couple days, and I'm like, I think that's the color. I really wanted to use Moody Mauve back here, but I don't know. It just didn't, this sat better with me. All right, so this is the butterfly from the kit, and I'm just going to put him on the card, but I'm just going to put adhesive here on the body part so that his wings can fly. Okay, and normally I would do a whole white piece there, but I liked how the contrast of this basic beige butterfly, that I didn't want to make it white. I wanted the contrast with the gray. So I cut a little piece that I could do my sentiment with here. So did I use the same stamp? Now this one's going to get tricky. I don't have a thing for him. I think I freehanded it the first time. All right, so let's try that. I think I've got some washi. Not very sticky washi, is it? Okay, and not quite enough room for the magnet. So let's just, I have two in case I mess this one up. Oh, that H is real gooey. I hope it stamps okay. I just won't press very hard. Yeah, too thick. I saw that, and I should have just redone that. You see the H, it's all blobby. All right, so now we got to do that again. Let's see if that's about the same spot. Nope. This would be much easier, I think, to freehand. But like I said, you got a bonus card that I really didn't think I was going to have time for. Let me get some new washi. That one's like almost tore up. This is a fun little colored one. Okay, good. Let me make sure that this stamp is not holding any water. And let's press. I'm off camera. Let's press lightly with the gray. And let's press lightly to the paper. You know what? That's better. I'm going to go with that. Thoughts your way. I'm not going to glue that down because I can do better than that, but I don't want to take more of your time cutting another piece and lining that up. I'll probably take that off my Stamparatus and just freehand my next one. But I'm going to show you that this, again, just goes on dimensionals. You got a bonus card today. Yeah, it rained a lot here yesterday, which I was thankful for, but it did make it too wet to want to go play golf. So I got to do this video today. By the way, if you're not subscribed to my blog, which is RobinsCreations.wordpress.com, sometimes if there's news that comes out from Stampin' Up! And I don't have a video, I will share it there on my blog. So you may want to subscribe to it as well. And like I said, then I would just adhere this down straight. Let me show you my finished card that I did. So I also added one of the brass butterfly embellishments there by the sentiment. So that is my second alternative for you today. And as always, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment below or send me an email. And my email address is on the title page at the start and end of the video. And here's my first one I showed with all the tips and such. So I hope you have enjoyed these alternatives. Let me switch back to me so you can talk to me. I can see you one more time. So again, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate if you would. We're pushing hard to 3,000, so I would love to see that happen pretty quick. And the best compliment you can give me is a thumbs up for this video, and also leave me comments. If you are subscribing, I love to know where you're from. So if you can just state either city or state or what's Canada's called? Sorry, help me out on that. I don't know what your little regions are. So let me know where you're subscribing from. I find that interesting. So until my next video, oh, you know what? I do have one more thing to share. So I mentioned I've opened a new Etsy shop. So let me show you this little file. See that? That's all the little cut butterflies that I do with my scan and cut. Now, I got impatient for my dies, and I did do a small file for them. So I did a few of the big butterflies. Anyway, if you're interested and you have a scan and cut, this will not work on a Cricut. I can put the cut file out on my Etsy shop. The cut file itself is $5. Now, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine and you have a scan and cut and want that file, then I will email that file for you for free as being a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine. So that's one perk you get. I also have to get busy on my PDFs. I send out a PDF of all my alternatives. I haven't done the one for the first one yet, but I'll try to get that done as soon as possible, as well as these two alternatives here. And I think that's all I have to share. So thanks for joining me today. Again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd love to hit 3,000. Till my next video. Bye-bye, everyone.